Hari. Jam Vishnu Pad Padamamsa Padvaja Kacharya Asto Talasata Sushimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jam Vishnu Pad Padamamsa Padvaja Kacharya Asto Talasata Sushimad. Shringa Guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Anantikoti Vaishnava Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premsako Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavadam Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Gangamai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Their Divine Lordship Shri Shri Rukmini Dwarkadish Ki Jai. Their Divine Lordship Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Shrimati Subhadra Ki Jai. Their Divine Lordship Shri Shri Gurnitai Ki Jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Jaga Ki Jai. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Gaur Pramananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to all the summer devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to all the summer devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to all the summer devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Canto 3, Chapter 20, Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. We're on text number 37. And today's topic will be entitled Muda Diya. You heard what that means yesterday. Unintelligent, foolish, due to not having spiritual knowledge. And in today's purport, Srila Prabhupada describes there, captivated by ignorance, just like the ass, the demons were captivated by the false, glaring beauty of this material form, and thus they embraced her. So this is, actually I find it very exciting, exploring Brahma's cosmic biography, or his history, and because it gives us perspective, hope, and even divinity. So it unveils profound insights into life's tapestry. It's very intricate. And that we explore in this journey through, it's not just ancient tales. It's actually an invitation to discover timeless wisdom that resonates deeply within our lives. So we can only get a glimpse of what Lord Brahma has to do. It's a very difficult task. And we think that we have such problems in our life, but it's just a snapshot in the point of time, you see. So, but we can shift this tiny, myopic, selfish illusions and ego and realize the whole highest potential in ourselves. And what's interesting is that ancient spiritual philosophy is actually, the interest in it is actually increased like 200% in the last decade. And it's on the rise. Actually, books, people are interested more in books and resources, discussions, yoga, these things. It's growing and growing. So it's very nice. So this ancient wisdom is not just a relic of the past. It's actually a timeless guide for our present and our future. So let's dive into the verse. Iti sayantanim sadyam asura pramadayatim palobayantim jagrihur matva mudha diyastriyam Iti sayantanim sadyam asura pramadayatim palobayantim jagrihur matva mudhadiyastriyam iti sayanatanim sadyam asura pramadayitim palobayantim jagrihur matva mudhadiyastriyam Jagayor Bhavadyastriya Iti sayantanim satyam Asura pramadayatim Palobayantim jagrihur Matva mudhadiyastriyam Iti sayantanim satyam Asura pramadayatim Palobayantim jagrihur Matva mudhadiyastriyam Matva mudhadiyastriyam Iti sayantanim sadyam Asura pramadayatim Palobayantim jagrihur Matva mudhadiyastriyam Iti sayantanim sadyam Asura pramadayatim Palobayantim jagrihur Matva mudhadiyam striyam. Vaishnavis. Iti sayantanim sadyam Asura pramadayatim Palobayantim jagrihur Matva mudhadiyastriyam Iti sayantanim sadyam Asuram prayadayatim Palobayantim pragbihur Matva mudhadiyastriyam Iti sayantanim sadyam Asura pramadayatim Matamadaya saspiram Iti. In this way, sayantanim, the evening, sadyam, twilight, asura, the demons, pramadayatim, behaving like a wanton woman, palobayantim, alluring, jagrihu, seized, matva, thinking to be, mudadiya, unintelligent, striyam, a woman. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Asuras, clouded in their understanding, took the evening twilight to be a beautiful woman. Showing herself in her alluring form, they seized her. Purport. The Asuras are described here as Muda Diya, meaning that they are captivated by ignorance, just like the ass. The demons were captivated by the false, glaring beauty of this material form, and thus they embraced her. Om Jnana Timidandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshusun Militamina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Upakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vanchakopa Tubhischa Kripasindu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So the verse again. The Asuras, clouded in their understanding, took the evening twilight to be a beautiful woman, showing herself in her alluring form. They seized her. So just to give you like an overview here, to get an idea. Here we, on chapter 30, we have the conversation as there between Maitreya and Vidura. And then we go on to the verses of 16 to 53, Brahma's creation. That's his Visarga, or the secondary creation. And then we go into where we are in this particular section is 30 to 37, the demons. This is where they're flirting with the twilight and assuming it to be a woman. So there's some key points in this chapter, how Brahma, he creates various types of living entities, as you can see there on the different sections. You know, demons, demigods, ghosts, ancestors, musicians, dancing girls. You could go on. And it details how some of them came from different parts of his body. And there's the description that we're studying now of how the demons lusted after the evening twilight, which appeared to them as a beautiful woman. And this symbolizes how those in the mode of ignorance, they're attracted to false material beauty. And then it also describes how Brahma thought his creation was incomplete, so therefore he went through austerities. We'll see in some future class verses. And so he manifested the Manus to take care of the universal affairs. And he also created sages to give us an example of spiritual life through qualities like meditation, mental focus, austerity, things like that. And then there's an emphasis actually on austerities and ritualistic ceremonies to please Krishna. And it also gives the concept of the universal form and the glories of Krishna. So that's basically, so we have a story here. It's like Lord Brahma is struggling with his creation. He's repeatedly casting off bodies, you know, and he's facing assaults from these unruly entities. They're lusting and salivating over to devour him. And this symbolizes the universal predicament and how we should handle darkness arising within ourselves and overcome limitations to our progress. So that's the story. And then the problem is that Lord Brahma's troubles, he's constantly getting weighed down by destructive tendencies, desires, deluded thinking, and these patterns are spawned by the mind and the ego. So this is what we're seeing. Brahma's mind in some places wasn't correct. So it started a lot of different difficulties for him. So how to break free? So the solution is that we have to consciously relinquish our old, outdated modes of thought and actually align them with virtuous visions and, you know, by engaging in our spiritual practices. So we have to sacrifice the old so we get the new to emerge. Just like Brahma, he sacrifices these old bodies, these mentalities, and then so you could get new. So if the benefits we get if you drop that old body, that old mentality, and we don't get attached to any single mode of identity, then we could rediscover our divinity in our God consciousness. So this is how we realize that Krishna is actually in everything, and we could become the best version of ourselves. So this is our call as devotees, and in our movement we call that we have to commit to our inner work. We have to notice those outgrown concepts. We have to question them, let go of them. Don't judge, just let go, and then see with patience and trust in the process. Then we'll actually experience increased joy, fulfillment, and our purpose will unfold. So this is all nicely described. So here, back again, why the twilight? And we see throughout this Bhagavatam, there's so many symbolic representations and analogies and stories and things. So it's interesting. It represents a traditional time where the light and darkness meet. It's like an in-between state, and it evokes a sense of ambiguity and obscurity. So this is the reasons why you see it indicates this onset of darkness, and it's hinting at ignorance and passion gaining prominence. So the demons, they already embody this, so it resonates with them. So you can see why they just attacked it. So the twilight, it marks the end of the day, signaling a shift. And this transitional nature mirrors the demons' mentalities. They constantly hanker for newer enjoyments. So this is the indistinct quality. This mirrors how the demons perceive reality. It's like unclear terms. It's not fully light or dark. It's evening twilight. So it aptly conveys their confused consciousness. So this is, we could see there that it's like a gloomier aspect. It's like ignorance. So it exemplifies how little enlightenment these demons have. So that's what we're seeing here. So we see in the chapter how Lord Brahma, he discarded his body made of ignorance, and this is what became manifest in that evening twilight. And then the demons, in the mode of ignorance and passion, they saw this twilight appear as a beautiful woman, and they became infatuated and lustful, and they attacked it. So we can see the key points here is that the mentality to see everything as objects of sensual desire is demoniac. And so the demons, they symbolize that, their uncontrolled desires. So this ignorance and illusion, it makes one misperceive reality. So the twilight, it has no intrinsic beauty or womanly qualities, but the demons, their distorted vision, it made him see it in that way. So that external beauty is just external, temporary, but the real beauty is from the soul and from God. But those without spiritual insight, they get entangled in this tapestry of entanglement. It's a temporary entanglement. So we have to conquer this lust. It's critical in our spiritual life because lust actually drags our consciousness down, and it makes us unaware of higher truths. So this is what sensual, this more and more sensuality, devoid of deeper meaning, it creates this demoniac mentality. So this is the allegory of Maya or illusion. It casts a spell, and it has these superficial attractions for us. So this is what we have to understand. This. So here is a very nice painting, actually, as by the devotees here, and this form of the woman, and it was reminding me of these Chanaka Pandit slokas that I used to read, and there's one that says, one single object, a woman, appears in three different ways. To a man who practices austerity, it appears as a corpse. You see, to the sensual, it appears as a woman, and the dogs as a lump of flesh. And then he also says here, he's comparing things like, who is there who, having become rich, has not become proud? Right? Proud. I think the mic went off or something. Okay, there it is. And then he's like comparing how difficult it is. So what licentious man has put an end to his calamities? So if you're really into sense gratification, it doesn't put an end to your calamities. And what man in this world has not been overcome by a woman? Who is always loved by the king? Who is there who has not been overcome by the ravages of time? What beggar has attained glory? Who has become happy by contracting the vices of the wicked? So these are just, give us some ideas. So this is like a symphony. You can see this? This symbolic repetitions, Brahma's creation here. It has like profound meanings, inviting individuals to contemplate their life's deeper truths and pursuit of virtues and the quest for spiritual evolution. And they're like guiding lights on the path towards self-discovery. So this is like analogous to like an orchestrated symphony. And, you know, this human life resonates a grand symphony of demigods, demons, sages, you know, all this. It's like harmonizing it, creating the melody of existence. So just to get a little close-up here, in the next one here, I'll show you. It shows here Lord Brahma. This is where he's casting off the body that produced lustful demons that are behind him. And you can see here all the demons behind him here. And so here you see, here's his body that he cast off. If you look in this section here, this is the body he cast off. And then it came into the form of twilight, which the demons you see are chasing here. They saw as a beautiful woman, you see. So this is what happened there. So that's just see that it led the formation of the ghosts. They try and so actually, as I was reading here, I was seeing how Brahma sheds his body at least 6 times in this story. So first it was the lustful demons. They were trying to forcefully mate with him. And then he left his body in the formation of ghosts trying to eat him. And then he threw off the form projecting ignorance. That's the beginning of the chapter. That covers knowledge. So from his person, also the Manus and the sages, you know, they gave up their earlier forms. So then he generates ancestors, celestial hosts like the Gandharvas, and then he yawns, and then he produces fiends, you know. So all through that, so you can see described there that he is changing his body. So these multiple bodily disengagements of Brahma, in some sense, it signals like an endless cycle of this manifestation of material nature and dissolutions going on in this universal model that we see. So on this same painting, let's zoom in the other section here where he creates from his personal form the Manus, the sages, you see, and then he generates the ancestors, celestial hosts, the Gandharvas, and this is, he ended previous forms just for this. So just imagine diving into a rich narrative where each character symbolizes different facets of our own existence. The struggle between base desires and higher aspirations, you know, the pursuit of virtues amidst temptations, the quest for spiritual evolution in this complex world. So we could see it, this exploring the Bhagavatam like this isn't just a glimpse into the past. It's a mirror that reflects our inner struggles and our potential for growth. So these, you can see they're more than just stories, they're not allegories, but they're pathways towards self-discovery and self-enlightenment. So we can unlock these timeless truths that empower us. So here we see, here's an interesting analogy, is that it's described how, you know, we don't have to go very far to find demons. They're not on different species, on different planets, but actually within our own bodies, there is a demons. So there's that verse in the Bhagavad Gita we could chant together. Dvobhuta sargo lokesmin Daiva Sura Eva Cha, Daivo Vistarasa Prokta, Asurim Parta Me Shrinu. And this is a translation. O son of Prita, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other demoniac. I've already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. So there's a wonderful purport, but basically Krishna here is contrasting the two paths. One of divinity, following scriptural regulations and authorities in action, and the other demoniac. So this is the difference between a demon and a devotee. Demons follow authority. Don't follow authority, and the devotees, they follow authority. So this is what. So the demoniac, they deviate from these principles. So it shows that this is the different divisions here. So as we mentioned, and we saw how, just imagine this is Lord Brahma. Of course, he has 4 heads, but imagine Brahma, his creation like an artistic canvas. So we see different analogies. They kind of help us bridge the abstract symbolisms that we see in Brahma's creation and relate it to our everyday experiences. So we use analogies like this. And so it helps us offer vivid imagery to unveil deeper meanings, which are encapsulated in these cosmic stories. And there's different analogies also given. So this is like analogous to like an intricate tapestry. So Brahma's creation resembles a masterfully woven tapestry. You see, and each entity is like a vibrant thread, and it just weaves different tales of complexities and nuances akin to an artist's canvas, as you can see here. So we can see here, it's like a cosmic canvas that's alive, and Lord Brahma is doing this. So this is his symbolization that I'm showing there. So this kind of, the significance of that is it shows the intricate connectedness of existence, and it invites us to contemplate this interplay between diverse elements and the cosmic order. So it's very beautiful, this unity, diversity in this cosmic design. So also another analogy we can have, like reflective mirrors. You can see how there's different prisms of light that refract the light of the cosmic truths to a spectrum of symbolic meanings, and it reveals the diverse hues, different colors of understanding. So Lord Brahma's creation is like prisms, and which catches different lights of cosmic truths that he reveals them to us. So it's just not about, as I mentioned, not delving into ancient tales, but it's an opportunity to uncover timeless wisdom that will resonate with us. So this kind of reflects and mirrors our own journeys. You see how we're trying to find meaning, and we're seeing that there's a battle between desires and higher aspirations, and we're trying to pursue wisdom amidst chaos. So we can get different insights like this. So Srimad Bhagavatam offers guidance for navigating all these different challenges of these, to growth like this. So here we see the demon's pursuit of the illusory beauty. And the analogies that we see in the Bhagavatam in different places it's like moths entering a flame. They're drawn by the captivating flickers of the flames. So this is how the demons, they're ensnared by this fleeting allure of illusory beauty, and they're unable to resist it, you see. So just picture the demons like the shadowy figures chasing the evening twilight, and their fiery eyes fixated on this elusive, ethereal figure. It's cloaked in the fading light in the twilight there. So it's like moths fluttering towards this mesmerizing flame. And what's happening is they're just being consumed by their own desires. Actually, there's a purport in the Bhagavatam, in the first canto actually, in that chapter 17, Punishment and Reward of Kali. And in the purport there, Srila Prabhupada says, a very nice paragraph I'd like to read. Moths are captivated by the glaring brightness of light, and they become prey to the fire. Similarly, the deluding energy is always captivating the conditioned souls to become prey to the fire of delusion. And the Vedic scriptures warn the conditioned souls not to become prey to delusion, but to get rid of it. The Vedas warn us to go not to the darkness of ignorance, but to the progressive path of light. The Lord himself also warns that the deluding power of material energy is too powerful to overcome. But one who completely surrenders unto the Lord can easily do so. But to surrender into the lotus feet of the Lord is also not very easy. Such surrender is possible by persons of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. So this again, following the regulatory principles. And then Prabhupada ends there, he says that how we should always remember that false pride, or too high an estimation of one's own values of life, undue attachment to women, or association with them, and intoxication will divert human civilization from the path of peace, no matter how much we clamor for peace in the world. So, but he describes there how the Bhagavatam will actually automatically render all men austere, clean, both inside and outside. So just see there. So you can see there, fools rush where angels fear to tread. So just see, this is describing there, like Keshava Swami says, don't give up what you want most for what feels good now. You know, that's the great art of life. So this, do you have can you turn the volume up? I have a nice little short by Srila Prabhupada. You mentioned the Vani quote yesterday, and here's one Vani quote video. Prabhupada's describing this. So this is so nice. The devotees are making this knowledge available, you know, for everyone to take advantage of. So there's a lot of YouTube shorts like this of Srila Prabhupada. It's all from Vani quotes and Vani videos of Prabhupada. So it's nice. So let's go on to the next slide. So we talked about the demigods. And this just gives you an idea of demigod. They embody virtues. So they're like gems, you know. They're rare, flawless, like gemstones. They embody virtues, shining with inner brilliance, and they reflect purity, kindness, nobility in every facet of their life. So these are like the devas, the devotees, or the demigods, you could say. So just imagine them, they're like radiant beings. They have this shimmering armor of virtues. So they have this glowing inner light. So this shows that they're reflecting the qualities of purity, nobility, compassion, and grace. So this is what these are demigods. They fulfill the desires of the Lord, and the demons, they don't. So we see they symbolize elevated qualities that are actually inherent in human nature, and so that serves as inspiration that we can ascend to higher moral, ethical grounds. So we're encouraged to cultivate and embrace these virtues. And then another analogy here is we have our desires and virtues. They're like tides. So each wave rises and crashes and dissolves. So while the ocean itself abides, it's just eternal. And then consciousness has these vehicles it rides like waves. So our desires are akin to that. Turbulent waves, they crash against the shore of our consciousness. But while virtues, they're like calm tides. They gently shape the shores of character and conduct. And then we'll go to the next analogy. So our journey of spiritual evolution is like the butterfly emerging. He's struggling to break out of the cocoon. And this is like the dissolution before he actually gets into another life and soars freely. It's like Lord Brahma giving off his old bodies. So this is like the caterpillar's metamorphosis, the journey towards spiritual evolution. It mirrors the caterpillar's transformation into a butterfly. So it's like from obscurity to transcendence. So from crawling to soaring, you see. So just visualize that journey like a spiritual evolution. So this is nice. So we're talking about the mind and how giving up this mind. And we can understand how the mind, it constructs subtle blueprints and energies that actually unite into our physical forms. So we're malleable while we're alive, and it culminates with death, releasing the body and then getting another body like that. So this trait of our consciousness, it gets imprinted into these subtle patterns, and it serves to attract and generate a suitable physical body or a vehicle. It's like tuning into radio frequencies. You tune into these frequencies and you get that particular sound. So if we purposely and deliberately elevate our consciousness, we can positively influence those tendencies and orientations. So this gets mirrored in the arising physical forms that we can develop. And this death, it just simply, it culminates, the ultimately giving up the body and for the consciousness to even grow more. So that's a radical shift in our. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Just another analogy of the snake giving up his, skin, relinquishing the outgrown of the different sheets like that. So we can shed our erroneous consciousness. You see, drop it off at these unwholesome qualities. So that's that. And I'll keep going. I'll go quickly here. And another analogy is like the moon waxing and waning. It's like the cyclical embodiment and withdrawal of form, while the essence of the moon still remains the same. Like that. And so here we see the phoenix rising. It evokes a fiery dissolution of limiting forms, and it makes way for rebirth from the ashes into a more resplendent expression of potential. So we go beyond this muro dio, this stunted intelligence. And anyone, it doesn't matter your position, it's described in the Krishna book that there was all kinds of living entities, even ones with stunted intelligence. This Muda Diya, they were actually developed love for Krishna. Like Kaliya and the different forms, just by engaging in Krishna consciousness. And then we see how did Lord Brahma get relief from his predicament? And so many analogies throughout the Bhagavatam. We read how Brahmana, he realized the demons were aggressively going to attack him. So he was alarmed and he took refuge of Lord Narayan. So in the same way, we see this pastime of Gajendra. He just was King Indradumna before, and he suffered a curse that turned him into an elephant. And through his past prayer and mercy of Lord Vishnu, he regained his memory and was delivered from the crocodile attack. So this is how he was delivered. So we see our prayers and our things are very important. So here's another short from Srila Prabhupada. How to be saved. And the same way we see how the sages throughout the Bhagavatam, they actually, you could say analogies to them would be like oak trees. They're like ancient oak trees. They stand tall, they're serene, they're deep-rooted in wisdom. They provide shade and sustenance to seekers who want their refuge under their branches. So it's like that. So we have this analogy, this story of this is the King Chitraketu, yeah, and the saints Narda and Angira, they instruct him. And then we have also the sage coming. They symbolize the profound wisdom, enlightenment, and so this is very significant here. And there's a wonderful verse here from the 11th canto, which we could chant together. Shri Rajo Vacha Yataitam Ashvaram Mayam Dustaram Akartam Abhi Tarantiyanta Sritotiya Maharsha Idam Chasam. So this is a very nice verse. And the translation, I don't have it there, but the translation is, King Nimi said, O great sages, please explain how even a foolish materialist can easily cross over the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord, which is always insurmountable for those who are not self-controlled. And this is how he replies in this next verse. And this is the translation. Basically, that if we're serious, we have to take shelter of a spiritual master, you see, who has actually taken shelter himself of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's that. So this is the Srila Prabhupada's mission of ISKCON, was to defeat this demoniac influence over society. So it's like a blossoming lotus flower that emerges this purity and growth and compassion. So we're learning that. So, and then just one more here. Prabhupada's saying the price to get out. What do we have? The price. So that's our price. So then we just end here. We see the lotus, the blooming lotus. It's actually beautifully blooming above the mud, and it transforms trying conditions into expression of grace. So this is our thing. So we see the core messages I guess, of this chapter and what we see from the verse also, that just see the potency of consciousness, how it manifests forms and realities, like Brahma it is. And then we see how evolution by involution. Involution means we cast off. We can limit by not being limited by our certain position. We can cast it off. So evolution through involution, and then the culmination is our divine embodiment. So like that. So we see. So that's what I wanted to describe here about this particular verse and purport and chapter. So thank you for your kind patience and attention. So I don't know if there's any time for comments or questions, but if anybody's eager to say something, you're welcome. Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, is it okay? Or maybe it's charged.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much for the presentation. It's always
Sorry.
very enlivening to be a part of. I had some confusion or doubt about the situation that the Asuras are in. They've imagined this form of twilight, but my doubt was that surely there's a personified, like, presiding deity of twilight. So does it really mean that the demons completely imagined this person, or does imagination allude more to the accentuation of what was going on, because they have very filtered consciousness?
Yeah, it's the way I just see it. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or we get some more insight on this. Is Lord Brahma, just from his thought, he could create actual living beings. And we saw that. He's very powerful. And these living beings are very powerful also. And they're subtle and some gross beings. So just by him casting off his body, as you see there, casted off the body, which was a mentality, that mentality actually had a form. And it took the form of a twilight, which appeared to the demons to be an actual woman. So, I mean, there must be some, I mean, even though we could say like us, you see yourself in the mirror, you think that's reality. Is it real? But we're very attracted to it. And you see a beautiful form, but is it really that person? We're not really seeing the soul. We're seeing some illusory form. So it's like that. That's the way I see it. But anyway. Any other comments? Corrections? No? Okay, well, thank you again. Appreciate you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srimad Bhagavatam. Ki Jai.
You don't have, right?